Hello and welcome to TM6 Adventures. Lisa here. Hey look, today I'm making something that is not on my bulk cooking series that we're doing at the moment, but I wanted to bring it to you anyway because accidentally some meat was defrosted over the weekend and I need to put it to use. So when that happens and you've got something that was unexpected, Cookie Do makes it super easy to type in an ingredient and then come up with a recipe. So today I'm going to show you this awesome slow cook recipe and I've never made it before. How good is it that Cookie Do recipes are there and they're star rated so that you know that it's foolproof? Okay, so today I'm going to make this slow cooked beef curry and I'm not going to worry about the cucumber mint couscous. We're going to serve it with brown rice for dinner tonight. And I'm excited to share this with you and give it a go, and I'll tell you tonight how it tastes. Let me know in the comment if you're watching along. Let me know if you've made this recipe before, and remember to like or love or subscribe or those sorts of things so that Facebook or YouTube, if you're watching the replays, want to put it in your newsfeed. But otherwise, let's get started. It is a recipe that requires our blade cover. Now, there are two types. Just wait for my camera. There are two types of blade covers. One is version 1, which was made out of the same polypropylene that your simmering basket in Vorwerk is made out of. And then there is the newest updated one, which is stainless steel. Okay, this one also peels, whereas the other one didn't. It just was a blade cover that was used for poaching, sous videing, and slow cooking. Okay, so if you've got the original version 1, it might make a clunking sound. I'm not sure why it does that. It's not damaging anything. It just seems to be what it does. It kind of goes clunk, clunk, clunk. Don't know why. Now we're going to come into this halfway through the recipe. Okay, we're going to make a beautiful curry sauce, which you can make in advance. You can even make a big batch of this. Okay, so let me today take you through this simple, but I'm going to guess because it's got like 4.7 rating out of 5, amazing recipe. All right, so let's get started cooking. You'll notice it is in ounces in a second because it's off a slow cook collection on the US. Now the beautiful thing about Cookie Do is you don't just have access to Australian recipes. If you set your filters right on the website, okay, did you catch that? Because sometimes you update them on the app, they don't stick. But if you do it on the website, cookiedo.com.au, they will hold firm. Now, some of you watching in from other countries, yours is not quite cookiedo.com.au. All right, yours might be slightly different to that. So whatever yours is, logging into the website's the way to go. Okay, 2 to 3 garlic cloves. I'm putting in 2 to 3 teaspoons of garlic paste. Okay, next up, now we are high heat cooking. This is a TM6 recipe, but if you have a TM5, I am giving you those instructions. And if you have a TM31, I will as well, but you're going to get stuck at one point, okay? And the only way for a TM31 to do this is actually put it in a slow cooker or in something in the oven that will slow cook for you, or on a stove top, yeah? You don't have the capability on a TM31 to cover those blades with something and hold its cook, yeah? So TM31s, you'll have to do some different things, but 5s and 6s, come with me, okay? Okay, some oil. I am holding out buying olive oil because you've heard me say it before, at $60 for 3 litres at the moment. I'm not paying that. So I have been saving my fat off my meat. We tend to do a brisket or a rump every week or second week, and we tend to just keep that meat fat off the top. I haven't washed it. You can actually boil it up and wash it, and I haven't. See, it's in ounces, okay? So I'm just trying to match it up. Now we're going to high heat cook the TM6. If you've got a TM5, you're going to do this on Vorwerk. It's not so crucial, but with the TM6, because we want to use this high heat cooking, we want to make sure our measurements of weight are pretty similar. Okay, otherwise the Thermomix really doesn't like it. It's trying to get you to cook at this 165 degrees, and it will give you an error. It'll go, oh, your weights are not quite right. Okay, so 1 ounce, which is approximately 30 grams if you are cooking with a TM5. I feel like TM5 owners, you have the ability to change to ounces in your menu. So you actually can go from metric to imperial and vice versa. So you can actually set this up to just cook along with this as ounces, or I will tell you the change over to grams. Okay, 7 ounces of yellow onions cut into wedges. Now they're wedges because we're going to high heat them. Okay, we don't often do wedges. We tend to chop them in the Thermomix, yeah, but we're going to high heat them. So 7 ounces is approximately 210 grams. Multiply by 3 and add a 0. Okay, so 7 multiplied by 3, 21, add a 0, 210. So there we go, 7.1 is pretty close. Okay, we need our splash guard for our high heat cooking. This is when we get this splash guard out. Goes there just as per picture. And now it's got 9 minutes, high heat sizzling. So spin that up. Now if you have a TM5 or a TM31, because you're going to put this into something else, you're going to go, I do 10 minutes, Varoma, slow stir, which is your very first little click around of your dial. Okay, it looks like a wooden spoon. And that will then just keep yours moving, but also cook it nice and hot, okay? We're going to hear this start sizzling in a minute, and the TM6 holds, it stops, a bit like you'd expect in a fry pan. And I don't know if you can hear that yet, if it's loud enough, but it is sizzling like you'd expect a fry pan, which is the beauty of high heat cooking, because you can take a recipe where it says, let's cook off 400 grams of brown onion, and you can put 400 grams of meat strips and veggies and make a stir fry with it. Or you might decide you just want to cook off some bacon bits for pizza night and just put in those and cook them off. Okay, we can't use it manually. That is a restriction on it. You've got to use it via a guided recipe, but you can tweak the guided recipes to make them do what you want, which is pretty cool. You should be able to hear this now. I stop talking. Okay, you'll see in a moment. You might be able to see it already. The steam coming out the top. Okay. Smells amazing. I can smell it already. The thing I love about this high heat cook is it really does a nice job of your onion. Your onion will actually look very translucent at the end, which is just phenomenal. Okay? Such a game changer. Reminds me of Bunnings onion bits. You know, like the bits you get on your Bunnings barbecue sausages? That's what it reminds me of when you do it this way. You'll also notice when we chop it in a minute, you get a different texture. It's not a blitz. It's actually like a slice. It's really quite nice the way it chops after it's been sauteed. Okay, now if you have a TM6 and you've not done a high heat recipe, put it on your to-dos. Okay, it's just a game changer. The flavouring is different when you saute. Okay, now you may need citric acid in your list of things, because you do at times get sear mark to the bottom of the bowl. It comes off, it's no big deal. You don't even need much muscle to get it off. And citric acid is the answer. If you need to know how to do that, just comment and say, can you tell me how? And I'll let you know how to I'll send you some instructions on how to clean your bowl with citric acid so that it comes sparkling clean without too much elbow grease at all, okay? So while I think of it, if you're not already a subscriber over to TM6 Adventures, get over there and subscribe, okay? Every month I do a series. Now, it doesn't always run beginning and end of month. It tends to be, you know, when I get to it. And this month we're doing bulk cooking, okay? The ability to cook once, but serve us multitudes of meals. Okay, now it is a game changer with the Thermomix to be able to do that. It makes life so much easier. It means you don't have to go buy, you know, a little single serve of something. You can have your single serves. These containers from the mix shop, okay, now I showed you this is vacuum sealed and this has got my little strips of oil in there, solidified oil, but these are perfect single serves. I think these are 650. There's another size up. I don't know if you guys can see, but I've got them over there, which are 1.6. I think there's a 2.7, which is great for things like lasagnas and stuff. We use these all the time, okay? When hubby has to go do something in the office, he takes his food. Now, don't zap the top, okay? But they are safe to reheat in, which is super cool. The top has this dial so that you can date it. I never bother. Mine tends to go straight in the freezer, and I don't worry about dating it because I just know that when we get to it, we get to it. But I also love vacuum sealing it. You might have heard me earlier pop the air out of that. That was actually because I want these to last, these fat bits to last a long time. And I didn't do the boil off where it separates the last of the meat juices from the fat. And so that sucking the air out of it is going to give it way longer lifespan. But these, back to what I was saying, perfect for single serves. You don't need to go buy them. They've got colours, additives, numbers, other things in them. You can make and then put your leftovers. And that's what this series is all about. I also want to go through in this series and teach you how to store it well, so that when you reheat it, it's like you just made it, but without the effort. Okay, we don't own a microwave, okay, so haven't told you guys that in a long time, so I don't know what comments I'll get from that, but we don't own a microwave. We reheat with our Thermomix, with our oven. We've only literally got the stovetop installed now. It's been a long time, so I can't say I reheat on a stovetop. Occasionally, maybe on a barbecue, but primarily we reheat with our Thermomix. If it's a liquid, we use the warm-up mode. If it's something solid like a risotto, we use steam, and we often use steam with our curries. We'll actually cook rice underneath. We do brown rice a lot, but we cook our brown rice in a simmering basket. And in the Varoma, we've got the leftover curry, normally about 2 litres, in a Pyrex dish, or these, now that these are available, perfect. And it cooks at the same time. Well, it reheats. So there's lots of ways. You don't need a microwave when you got a Thermomix. How cool is that? So this series is all about making those big batches of things, but then storing them in such a way that you can bring them back to life and they're just like you made it. Hello, Linda. Lovely to see you on today. Thanks for saying hi. So, and there are some vegetarian ones at the bottom. If you are a vegetarian or you're primarily vegetarian, there's some recipes here that are large serves for you as well. So don't look away. Yes, there's lots of meat, but there's also a line for you guys out there as well. There are some of my favorites on here. If you've never done, now don't turn away, but meatloaf. I know it's got a bad reputation, but meatloaf with tomato sauce on Cookie Dough was in our basic cookbook when I became a consultant back in 2013. It still is in the basic cookbook, and it's amazing. Like, it's not like a meatloaf like I recall, which is like this dense meat thing. This is beautiful. It's wrapped in bacon or prosciutto. It's got whatever fillings you want inside. It is steamed, so it is like soft, and it is moist and it is beautiful cooking over a tomato sauce. Or there's actually, when I go to show you this one, you'll actually learn there's a mushroom sauce you can follow as well if you like mushrooms. Not all my family will eat mushrooms, sadly, so we'll be doing tomato sauce, which is beautiful, okay? Game changer. So you'll see on there as well, there's a brisket, there is chicken, there's the Basque chicken, the tikka masala, the Mediterranean chicken. So there's a whole collection. There's also a low-carb, gluten-free lasagna. Talking about lasagna and bulk cooking, I should have brought it out of the fridge. But in my fridge is, at the moment, 1 3/4 leftovers of lasagna from the weekend. We went to a friend's house. There's generally about 30 of us that go every fortnight to a friend's house. And so we all take something to contribute. And I was like, right, I'll do lasagna, and I'll do a gluten-free lasagna. So I had 3 litres of mince mix. I had 1.5 litres of bechamel sauce. I made Brazilian cheese puffs, but I turned them into really thin layers on oven trays and used them as sheets for the pastry because they're gluten-free. And talk about making a lot of food. Like, that's going to do us. I'm not going to use it today. I'm going to use it tomorrow night because we're going to have this for dinner. But, such a great way. And especially if you've got 2 bowls, which at the moment you can get a Thermomix with a second bowl discounted, yeah? So if you didn't know that, FYI, if you've also got a TM5 and you want to get a TM6, you can actually get a discounted TM6 at the moment and keep your TM5, okay? So just an FYI, ending very shortly though, so message me if you want that ASAP, okay? But, yeah, second bowl, I was able to do the mince in the one with the Vorwerk on top. I was able to do the white sauce in another one. Then when I was ready, I actually had another bowl and I put that in and did the mix for the Brazilian cheese puffs. To be able to do all that in one go with ease, amazing. And also talking about that mince recipe, I will try and get that to you guys. You guys have seen my massive mince cook up a few times. If you search for it on my YouTube or my Facebook, you will see just go massive mince and you'll find it. But if you need to cook or you want to cook a volume of food that you can then use for, like, we had visitors over for lunch, they had nachos with some of the mince, and then I made 3 lasagnas, 1 massive one and 2 kind of half size, no, not even half, 3/4 size ones. Game changer. Anyway, 8 seconds to go. Perfect timing. Stop talking, Lisa. All right, here we go. So next up, we could have pushed the preview button and gone through what we needed next. Perfect chance to. This is smelling so good. It is so incredibly cold here at my house today. Sorry if I look rugged up. I am rugged up. Look at that. Can you see how crisp, like they're translucent. That's what high heat cooking does. Okay, now it's asking for that lid to go on. And this time with the measuring cup, because we're going to do that chop, that Bunnings barbecue chop I was talking about. So let's put the lid on. Do as the Thermomix says. We just do what it tells us to do. 3 seconds, speed 4. Okay? Speed 4. Now, can you see the error on the screen? You might not be able to. Let me just go lower. I'm going to show you again. Hang on. It says to me, watch this. So, back arrow. This is how smart the Thermomix is. It says 3 seconds and it's telling me go to turn speed select to speed 4. Now watch on that line across the bottom. Oh, now it's doing it. Okay, a second ago it said too hot to chop, can only go max speed 2. It didn't do it now. It goes to show sometimes you need to take a moment to take the lid off before you put it back on. I was so quick that it actually was like, hang on, we're too hot to do a chop. We're over 250 degrees. And when you're over 250 degrees, it says you're going to do max of speed 2. And I'm not going to get a chop on speed 2, so I had to kind of just take a break and let it catch up. Have a look at this. Look at that. That is my Bunnings barbecue chop. I'll try and pull some out. Okay, now look at the bottom. I want to show you something. That is what I said about the needing to use citric acid sometimes. There's a good chance I won't even need to. Usually it cooks off, but sometimes it stays. But look at that. See the chop on that? See how it's actually a chop? It's not a pulverize. That's the difference the TM6 high heat cooking makes, okay? If you give this a little stir, it smells divine. Oh, I know why. It's a little bit of meat juice left on the fat. That's what I can smell. I'm like, why does it smell like brisket? That's why it smells like brisket. I know now. Okay, let's do this. We're not adding chilies. We don't do chilies at this house. Okay, 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds. Let's put that in somewhere here. If you don't have cumin seeds, use the powder, use less, okay, because the seeds take up more space. Was that the right way around? Yeah, close enough's good enough. Just put in 2 teaspoons. I don't know that my brain can cope with that today. It's just too cold. Okay, cumin seeds, 2 teaspoons of salt. Okay, in that goes. Don't shortchange yourself on the salt. Just won't taste right. Okay, try and go behind that camera for you. Okay, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Yum. Smells amazing. You might notice as well, I'm trying to drop it on the onion just so it doesn't stick to the bottom. 1 teaspoon of garam masala. Now, do you know that you can, wait for that camera, you know you can actually make this stuff yourself? There's a recipe. Actually, there's 2 recipes on Cookie Do for garam masala. So next time you need garam masala, make it using your Thermomix. Chili powder to taste. I'm going to skip that, keep the family happy. I may put in a little bit of kashmiri. I don't know if you guys, if you've made tandoori paste off Cookie Dough, you probably have kashmiri already in your possession. It's actually a beautiful, mild but broader flavoured chili. I think it's made from a capsicum chili, if I've understood correctly. So I might just add a whisker. It says half a teaspoon. It is milder. So I might just put a little bit of that in. I don't think it'll be enough for the kids to complain, hopefully. I'm trying to sort out, guys, what to do with my current spices issue. You guys know I've been carrying around in my caravan, in my other house, a board with my spices on for a long time. Well, I've outgrown it. So I need to work out what to do next. So next up is some ginger, 1 teaspoon. It says grated ginger. I don't have fresh at the moment, so I'm just going to put in half a teaspoon of dry. Typically things double in size when they are dried and then ground. So half will equal about a teaspoon then. And then without the measuring cup. So we'll put this on the top. Next, 3 minutes, 160 degrees Fahrenheit, 250 Fahrenheit, which must be their aroma, and then speed 1. Now, something I am going to do is I'm going to grab a simmering basket, maybe. This is going rather hot. Now, if it was an Australian recipe, it will tell you to put your simmering basket on top. Yeah, safety feature, so that it doesn't splatter out at you. So I'm going to do that, even though the recipe didn't tell me to. Anything over 90 degrees that doesn't have the simmering basket inside, you should be putting it on top, okay? Or, unless you go high heat cooking, then your splash guard goes on top, yeah? So, that's moving around in there. And then we're going to blitz it. We're pretty much going to blitz this down to be our beautiful paste. And then we're going to coat our meat. And then I'm going to show you how to put it in the blade cover, and we're going to make it slow cook style, okay? So, and it cooks for 6 hours. So this will be ready for close to 7 o'clock tonight, ready for dinner. I'll just give you a sneak peek at that in there. Stirring that around in there. It smells amazing, okay? So give that a moment. When you're watching on, I'd love to know what curry you've been making. I know a lot of you guys are following along in the colder parts of Queensland, or Australia, sorry, in Australia. So tell me, what have you been making? What warming things have you been making? I'd love to know. It really is that weather where I want to just hug a warm cup of tea all the time. So just if you want to be organising your kitchen, remember you can go preview. It now tells you what, by the way, that is coriander. I won't be putting coriander into my dish. I do not like it. So I'll just skip it. So it's half an ounce of cilantro leaves, which is coriander leaves. I'm just going to leave them out, okay? As a coriander disliker, I'm just going to skip them out of it. I could put it in with parsley, but it's not going to make that much of a difference, I don't think, to this recipe. Just skip it out. So I'll skip it, all right? If you are a vegetarian making this recipe, okay, I have a suggestion for you. I think this would be a stunning recipe with potatoes and sweet potato and carrot. Okay, these smells that I can smell so far, I just want to, it smells like something from a Thai restaurant or something like that. And I reckon that you could actually, yours would not take 6 hours because your potatoes will not take 6 hours to cook. You probably could do it in an hour and a half, maybe an hour. Keep an eye on your potatoes, your sweet potatoes and your carrot. But the paste smell I am smelling right now is phenomenal, okay? Don't look away if you're a vegetarian. And if you don't eat beef, I reckon you could do this with chicken thigh. Now, you might have just noticed I said thigh and not breast. Breast, in our Thermomix slow cooking, needs to be massive chunks, okay, about that size. Otherwise, it will pull. I don't know if anyone can ever attest to the fact that their chicken breast has pulled in a recipe, but that often happens because the breast has nothing to hold it together. That's why I'm using chuck in this case. If I use rib or rump, it is so delicate and there's no fat, not enough fat fiber to actually hold that together. So chuck has that toughness to it that needs to cook for 6 hours. You could probably do rump, you couldn't do rib. It would just lose its form through it, okay? All right, let's take that off. Let's finish up the leaves. No leaves are going into this recipe. Look at that, yum. Tomato paste. 1.5 ounces of tomato paste. So it's one of the few things we buy. Oh, that was a little bit too much, that's okay. Tomato paste is something that, you know, we don't put. I do have a picture somewhere for you guys of my trolley. We buy quite similar week to week. We tend to use the same style of base ingredients. You know, we always buy carrots, we always buy zucchinis, unless we're growing them, which we actually are at the moment. We always buy, you know, the same bits and pieces as the base, but then can make so many different things with the Thermomix with them. And yeah, tomato paste is one of the few things we actually buy ready-made, generally speaking. Haven't done the almonds. I'm not even going to bother. I think I'll skip them. Yeah, I think I'll skip that out. 2, 4, 6, 60 grams. I might actually put in instead, I'd forgotten about that step. I might put in some sunflower seeds. All right, let's go sunflower seeds. That was my door slamming. So as much as the kitchen is done, the skirting boards are not on. So it means that all our door stops don't exist. It means that at any given point in time, a door will slam or someone will push it back too far and it will ding the wall. So yes, if you heard that, that was my door slamming. Okay, on with the lid. Let's blitz this down. We're making a paste and then we're coating our meat and we're going to finish it off. Simple as this. So 20 seconds. We have a blend on the TM6 to protect our blades. If you're on a TM5, just go up to speed 5 and then increase to speed 9 for the 20 seconds, okay? So we'll do that. You can hear it going up slowly. I'm missing something. Lucky it wasn't hot. Well, it's warm, but not that hot. My goodness, I'm there thinking, why can't I put my blade cover in? And actually it wasn't a blade. Okay, guys, try not to blitz with your measuring cup off. Number one, you'll make a mess. Number two, you may burn yourself. In the case of today's recipe, there's not much content in there. It's quite thick. Pretty safe bet. There's a couple of dobs on the floor. I was like, it took me a moment. It took me 2 big bits throwing out at me before I realised. Sorry to those of you who are probably watching this going, Lisa, you forgot your measuring cup. All right. Oh my goodness. Look at that. By the way, those sunflower seeds were not roasted. They were just straight out of their raw, out of my drawer. All right. I didn't finish that blend, did I? That was because of my little panicked moment. All right. Let's go next. It does have another blend, which I was going to skip just for the sake of time. Let's just let this one do its thing, though. Hello, Alana. Hello, how are you? Lovely to see you on. All right. Hello, Jeanette. Lovely to see you on as well. You've just missed the part where I just forgot to put the measuring cup on and my paste just came all over my bench and myself. There we go. So that's my beautiful paste. Now it says to transfer and set aside for 10 minutes. It's actually supposed to sit for 2 hours, by the way, or refrigerate overnight. I don't do those sorts of things. I don't know that I've ever marinated well. Obviously, you're going to get a nicer taste. Hang on. A nicer taste if you do, but I want it for dinner tonight. The meat needs cooking. All right, so I've pre-chopped my chuck. The chuck was actually, the reason it got defrosted is it was stuck to the brisket and we couldn't get the brisket off to be able to cook the brisket without getting the chuck. So we ended up with both, incidentally. So it says to place 28 ounces. Now 28 ounces is approximately 600 grams. Okay, so it's actually probably only serves 4 to 6, this one. So as I said, it doesn't fit in my batch cooking where it's supposed to be a big volume of food. Mind you, if you want to make this like for lunches or something, you know, for the week ahead, portion them up, it would be okay still. But it's not exactly fitting into my, it's not on the list is what I'm saying, okay? The downloadable, this is not on there. Okay, next. Cover and refrigerate. So I'm not going to cover and refrigerate. I'm giving it a little stir. Actually, why am I stirring it? Does anyone else ever do that? Or is it just me? I'm going to put on reverse for a couple of seconds. So let's push the house key. So it's bookmarked in that little green bit. I'm going to push the reverse. Now reverse leaves under the 0. Yeah, click that. Blades are backwards. Let's go up to speed 2. Let's have a look through the little measuring cup. It's slow enough that I can safely do that. And I'm watching it marinate, coat itself, yeah? I'm watching on the top to make sure those top bits get coated. And it did it for me without me having to stir it, yeah? Okay, so let's go back to our recipe. Let's put it on to slow cook. So it's going to tell us to cover with cling wrap and refrigerate for a minimum of 2 hours up to overnight. Something if you ever do want to do that, it's going to be one of those days. Okay, so I don't know if you saw that. That was a chopping board. In the mix shop, and I don't know if it exists anymore, so this might not be there anymore. So I'm sorry if I'm telling you to get something that you can't get. I actually don't know. These are super handy. They are a silicone lid, and they go on both bowls, but also Thermomix bowls. So if you want to marinate, say you knew that you weren't going to need a Thermomix overnight, or you've got a second bowl, you can put that in the fridge just by covering it with one of these silicone lids. And how they work is you flick back the little bit on it. Oh, Jeanette's got one. She said they're excellent. Yeah, I love it. I use it on normal bowls too. And it fits on your Thermo server, your 2.2 or 2.6 litre round. And then you literally, I don't know if I can do it, I don't think I can do it while it sits in place, but I want to show you with the camera. So you sit that down and you literally then flick your edges down. And it seals that up. So now you can put it in the fridge and your whole fridge is not going to smell like curry overnight, but you also didn't have to transfer it out. because otherwise, you know, you're dirtying another bowl and then washing up. So if you've got 2 bowls, you can just use one for that night while the other one sits in the fridge and marinates. So there you go. I don't know if they exist still, but just a little handy thing. They kind of look like a little drum. Okay, clean and dry mixing bowl. We're just going to put a second bowl in. Let's finish this recipe. Insert the blade cover. Did you know that TM6 has videos? The other day, one of my children turned it on and I didn't realise. I was off in the other room. I'm like, what is that sound? And I've come back and there's a video of Grace and Bianca in the kitchen and there's audio playing. There's actually stuff happening. It's like Netflix on the Thermomix. I was like, oh, is this a new update? I think it's been there all the time. It's through under the cookie dough one. I'm standing on paste on the floor. Anyway, it gives you a little video if you want to see how to put it in. Place the seasoned beef with curry paste into the bowl. I love the little pictures, just in case I haven't clearly understood. I'm a bit distracted. I'm standing on tomato paste with socks on. Luckily, they're black socks. All right, in goes this beautiful marinated, not yet marinated, meat. I believe marinating is important to tenderize your meat as well. But yeah, I don't have time for it, so I'm not obviously marinating. Okay, yum. Now there's, I think, 2 ingredients left. Okay, 14 ounces of canned coconut milk. So that's approximately 40, which is going to be 400. Okay, 400, and I've got here coconut cream. But what had happened is the kids have used half of it today. They made creamed rice. This morning they used half because it wanted milk and we didn't have any. So we halved and halved it. So we took out half and added half water. And I've topped this tin up with water as well. So that's all. Did you know that's all coconut milk is? It's literally watered down coconut cream. So buy the cream, don't buy milk. Buy the cream, pure cream, and then just add water to it yourself. Okay? So I'm going to assume this is pretty close. Oh, look at that, pretty close. Okay, next up is beef stock. Now don't go adding 10 ounces of beef stock from your veggie stock, and I'm just using veggie stock. You guys know I don't make the others. I've always there's only once. I've made one lot of chicken stock and one lot of beef stock 10 years ago, and I've never done it since. We just use this for everything. 10 ounces is 300 grams. Okay, they are not asking for 300 grams of veggie stock. They are asking for a tablespoon of this, okay, and they're asking for 300, the rest of it in liquid, okay? So the equivalent of that, okay? Just occasionally recipes get a bit confusing like that. They're assuming you understand that they are talking about stock liquid, okay? If you've not made your own veggie stock paste, please do me a favour, do yourself a favour, put it on your to-dos. It's veggies and salt. It's a lot of salt. You don't want to eat it on its own, but it's a flavour enhancer, okay? I don't ever add the oil to it, and I very rarely have all the herbs. I will just grab whatever I've got in the garden. Sometimes it's all basil. Sometimes it's all parsley. Sometimes it's all rosemary. Sometimes it's a selection. I never have sage. What else has they got there? I never have a bay leaf. I used to, years ago, if you watch my old videos, I had a bay leaf tree. So I used to, but I don't anymore. So like, just use what you've got, okay? And freeze your leftover celery. So use the leaves and save the leftovers, just freeze it so you can use it at a later date. So it wants you to make sure that it's mixed well with the spatula. I'm just going to push it down, make sure it's all in the liquid. And then I'm actually going to just grab the rest off the lid. I'm going to use this lid. Then it says to put the lid on and place the simmering basket on top. And 6 hours, 205 Fahrenheit, which for those of you cooking along with a TM31, no, you can't do it on a 31, in a 5, 100 degrees, okay? Do it on 100. And then you're going to go, if you're on a TM5, on a slow stir with your spoon, okay? Yours is going to move the whole time. On the TM6, we activate it, and it will stir for a while and then it will stop. And it primarily stops every hour or so. It does a little rejig and then it stops. So you will hear it mostly stationary, I think. I've got to be completely honest with you guys. I've not used slow cook enough to remember. I don't think I've slow cooked since I've been at this house. So maybe I'm wrong on that, but I feel like it moves and then it stops, moves and then it stops. But time will tell. Hopefully I'm not wrong in what I've just told you. But otherwise, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. I know it's been a longer video, but I hope you give this a go. It smells amazing. It's a really great way if you've got those tough cuts in me to use them. Your Thermomix as a slow cooker just is a tenderizer. Like, it is so good, and it's actually that little bit slower than putting it in a conventional slow cooker, because it does have that little bit of agitation to it, which, as it tumbles, it cooks. So I hope you give it a go. Let me know if you do give it a go what you think of it. I'll take some photos tonight. And yeah, I hope you're using your blade cover. Okay, I hope you're giving it a really good go. Some of you guys have bought one in the mix shop with my name attached, and I've sent you a little recipe booklet on that. If I've happened to have missed you, let me know, because I do have some recipe suggestions for your blade cover on how to get the most out of it. It is a great tool to go with your Thermomix, and especially now that it's a peeler as well, makes life a little bit easier when it comes to doing, roast veggies and things like that. So, but otherwise, guys, have a fantastic rest of your day. It's lovely to come to you and cook. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know if you've got questions, and always here to support you or someone you know with a Thermomix. If anyone does want to get their hands on a TM6 using the trade up or just buying with a second bowl, this offer's on until tomorrow, so get in quick. Okay, if you want to take out that deal. But otherwise, take care, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Thanks for joining me today. Bye for now.